Hello there, it's a Bradjic Show here. Today I'm painting a Rhodesian Ridgeback. Now, I start by wetting down the background and keeping the water off the main subject of the painting. Then I fill it in using a light wash of green. Now I picked the background this time because it really carries the colour of the Rhodesian Ridgeback. The gold sits on it nicely, as you'll probably see at the end. Next I begin with my usual technique of just blocking in the colours in the direction of the fur using a number 4 a round brush and my browns. So this is a yellow ochre and golden cadmium yellow mix. Now I'm just using this to get the shapes of the fur happening. I paid a bit more attention than usual to the shadows and highlights this time though, because this dog's fur was very short and its coat was very glossy, so it made it quite shiny, and I had to try and capture that shine in the fur. And here I'm using a wee bit of burnt umber just for the darker parts, and then just blending it back in with my lighter browns and trying to leave as white or as light as possible the highlights in the forehead and the ridges of the nose. Here I'm using a mixture of black and burnt umber to start just dropping in a bit of darkness and shadows around the eyes and the really dark parts of the face. The muzzle was more or less hairless, so I was just got the tones right using black mixed down with water to show a wee bit of the contrast. I took the same approach to the base layer of the nose. My camera ran out of battery there and I missed a bit of filming, but what I did with the nose was just add the details using a more solid mixture of the black and some of the burnt sienna to mix in a bit of brown. Now just going through and adding a few details with the tip of the brush with my black mix, just to get some of the edge shadows right before I carry on with the ears. So I wet the ears down with plenty of water, and I'm just using a pretty light wash of my browns here, my yellow ochre and my burnt sienna, just to try and block in the contours, paying attention to the highlights. The ears are very leathery, so I didn't need to concentrate too much on the fur direction for these, but they still had to look right. I'm just continuously improving and reinforcing the dark areas with the tip of my round brush here in black, just to keep the areas of contrast nice and clear. The neck and throat area was more of the same, just wet it down, then block in the browns in the direction of the fur, paying attention to the lighting. For the eyes, we start by carefully wetting them down with a number 1 brush. Then we just dab in some lemon cadmium yellow. Let it spread in the water. Then we add a bit of yellow ochre. Again, nice and wet, let it mix. Now a layer of burnt sienna, just to darken it up. Now for the burnt umber. And finally, touching in black for the pupil and some of the more darker details around the eye. I stippled the nose with the tip of my #1 brush to get a bit of the texture, and then added some highlights to give it a bit of shine. While I was working with the opaque white, I added some highlights to the eyes as well. For this next bit, I used my #0 script liner brush with my darker colours, my burnt sienna and my yellow ochre, to basically draw in the fur. I wanted to add the detail, so had to draw this in pretty much a hair at a time, overlaying them, paying careful attention to the direction of the fur. Really, this is to give the directionality. But as I was doing it, I thought, this is too much. This is too much detail. So what I ended up doing is finishing it up and then going back with my filbert grainer brush and smoothing it back down again. And the compromise made the fur look realistic without being too unrealistically defined. Here I'm just repeating the process with black to give a bit of shadow under the jaw and under the ears. Now adding some final details in white, just some whiskers and a few bits of texture in the hair, and a few strokes of black just to finish this off, add those final details that make it real. So I'm pretty happy with this painting. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.